in West London, with a place in the quarter-finals of this season's Carabao Cup at stake. And Stamford Bridge, which is much more full now than it looked 5 minutes ago, really is booming with noise. Chelsea in royal blue with white socks, Southampton in the red and white striped shirts, black shorts and black socks, and we are just about ready to get underway. Kevin Friend is your match referee tonight on TalkSport 2, and Southampton will kick this game off in just a few moments, playing from left to right towards the two-tiered Matthew Harding end in the first period. Chelsea from right to left towards the shed end, where around 2,000 away supporters are gathered. Both sets of players take the knee ahead of kick-off here to rapturous applause from all four sides of Stamford Bridge. It's a relatively mild October evening as these two sides meet for the second time in the space of 24 days. We are off and underway right here on TalkSport 2, and Southampton with a throw on the far side of the field midway into opposition territory. Chelsea with Kepa in goal, James, Chalobah and Sarr the back three, Hudson-Odoi and Alonso the wing backs, Kovacic, Sal and Barkley in midfield, Ziyech in support of Havertz up front. Southampton forced to the goalkeeper, Valery, Lianco, Salisu and Walker-Peters as a long throw is held into the penalty area. Adams with the flick on, Teller went for it, and then Adam Armstrong saw his shot charge down inside the penalty area, and Chelsea smuggled it away up to the halfway line. That Chelsea midfield, Teller, Armstrong, Stuart Armstrong, Diallo and Gineppo, with Adams and Adam Armstrong the two furthest forward. Danny Mills, winner of this competition, the League Cup with Middlesbrough in 2004, is alongside me, and it really has picked up the noise around the ground there.
Yeah, unbelievable. I mean, there must have been thousands of Chelsea fans out in the concourses, because it was very, very empty with only about 5 minutes to go, and suddenly they must have just piled in at the very, very last seconds. But yeah, pretty much 85-90% full. Not too many empty seats, which is great to see. Good start from Southampton, but I think the game will start to settle down now, and you'll start to see Chelsea dominate possession even in these early minutes.
It's a steep drop to the base of the East Stand. Thomas Tuchel already standing with his arms folded as Adam Armstrong races away down the far side to left for Southampton, cuts infield, a nutmeg on James, who recovers with a good challenge, and Chelsea have possession back, and now Kovacic is surging over the halfway line in royal blue. He's got options left and right. One of them is Ross Barkley. Couldn't find Barkley with the pass. It was intercepted initially in the middle of that Southampton midfield by Walker-Peters on the stretch, but then Marcus Alonso is fouled, and Chelsea have a free kick 10 yards shy of the 18-yard box. The Chelsea fans right in front of us here. We are penned in by the home supporters making lots of noise. Chelsea 0, Southampton 0, 2 minutes played, and you're with TalkSport 2.
Good break from Chelsea. They broke with real quality, and I think you can see that already. Although only just over 2 minutes in, when Chelsea have had the ability to break forward, their passing's been a lot slicker. It's been a lot better. They look a lot more confident. Southampton, even though they went forward a couple of times, just look a little bit edgy at the moment. But this is a dangerous position. Stuart Armstrong giving away the free kick on Marcus Alonso. This is going to be sort of, I think, dinked to the far post.
Everybody back in red and white for Southampton. Ziyech does loft the ball high towards the far post. It drops for Chalobah, who plays it back to Havertz, corner of the 18-yard box. Now Callum Hudson-Odoi with very little space to work with, but Hudson-Odoi has got the return pass from Chalobah. Again, right corner of the penalty area, cuts onto his left foot, goes for it, and it took a deflection before spinning into the gloves of Forster, who gathers low inside his 6-yard box, and it's still 0-0.
Really good play from Callum Hudson-Odoi. Was sharp, was bright, got the ball, played a little 1-2, dropped the return, and then went for another little 1-2, and as he came in on his left foot, he just dug it into the ground a little bit, didn't quite catch hold of it how he wanted, and it really trickled through to Fraser Forster.
Chelsea 5 times winners of the League Cup, most recently in 2015. Southampton twice runners-up in this competition, most recently in 2017. Kovacic can't smuggle the ball beyond the formidable physical presence of Salisu, who's gone down. Southampton want a free kick. Ralph Hasenhüttl out of his technical area, but they don't get it, and Chelsea work it wide to the near side, the left, and Marcus Alonso, who crosses into the near post. It's a poor clearance straight to Barkley. Barkley loses possession to Valerie, and then Southampton win a throw in the right back position on the near side of the field. But Chelsea hassling and harrying those Southampton players, pressing high at the earliest opportunity, and really underlying the excellent run that Chelsea are on. They've won their last 4 matches, and here at Stamford Bridge they've been particularly impressive. 3 straight wins at home, scoring 14 and conceding just once, albeit that was to Southampton in the Premier League meeting here in early October, Danny Mills.
You can see the difference in quality already, can't you, between the two teams? Chelsea are really putting a high press on Southampton. They look a little bit jittery, a little bit nervous. They're giving the ball away. When Southampton try and press Chelsea, they're calm, they're assured, they're confident, and they're quite happy to take just that extra half a second and keep hold of the ball.
One thing to note early on is Marcus Alonso's fouled. It's a free kick to Chelsea, 10 yards into opposition territory, and England's women have made it 5-0 away in Latvia. Beth Mead with the goal. One thing to note about Southampton straight away, Danny, it looks like they've lined up with 3 centre-halves, Valerie, Lianco and Salisu, with Walker-Peters and Gineppo operating as wing-backs. Here's Hudson-Odoi for Chelsea, crossing to the right. Lianco, the Brazilian defender, who's only played once before for Southampton, and that was in the Carabao Cup 3rd round win at Sheffield United with the header away, and Chelsea have a corner at the shed end away to the left-hand side.
I have to say, Chelsea's attitude, although it's only 5 minutes in, it has been fantastic. They've started very, very brightly. Sometimes that's the biggest concern in these sort of games, that the players just a little bit too complacent, but that's not the case.
Barkley's delivery, Sal with the header, brilliant save by Fraser Forster, flinging himself to his left-hand side to tip away the header. Sal, the Atletico Madrid loanee, looking for his first Chelsea goal, and denied by an excellent stop. It's another corner.
Well, he's not the biggest, is he? But he was completely unmarked in the 18-yard box. A really good header towards the far post, and an incredible flying save from Fraser Forster.
Clearance away by Stuart Armstrong at the near post this time. Barkley again with the delivery. It's back out wide to the former Everton man, who steers the ball, whips it infield to James. 35 yards from goal, and does shoot, and it lacks power, and it's easy for Forster to gather. Fraser Forster, the very experienced goalkeeper who has started every game in the Carabao Cup for Southampton so far this season. It's his clearance downfield towards Adam Armstrong, who looks to make a nuisance of himself with his back to goal. Chelsea smuggle the ball clear up towards the halfway line, and eventually it's out of play for a Southampton throw. Well, much was talked about in regards to Sal after his very underwhelming Chelsea debut earlier on in the season here against Aston Villa. He was taken off at half-time, having conceded possession 10 times. He did start here in the Carabao Cup 3rd round against Aston Villa, but here's Teller for Southampton in the 4th round here live on TalkSport 2 with the score still 0-0. Chelsea get the ball away over the halfway line. Havertz looking to race down the left. He's been held up by Lianco with that long sleeve shirt on. Chelsea fans in front of us arriving all the time, and here is Chalobah for Chelsea on the edge of his own penalty area, and he sends it back to Kepa, all in grey. Now Sarr on the near side of the field, almost the left back position, loses out to Teller, and Southampton have a throw deep inside opposition territory. It's been quite an open start to the game, Danny.
Yeah, it has, but Chelsea, I would say, are dominating at the moment. You know, they look like a team at the top end of the table. You know, they've got confidence, they've got a swagger. But their attitude has been absolutely outstanding, have to say that.
Here's Gineppo though for Southampton into the penalty area. Touch was heavy, he was off balance, had to work really hard to keep it in by the dead ball line. Moves to Gineppo with the bright yellow boots on. Now Chalobah having to turn away from the on-rushing Shea Adams and play the ball square to the near side, and Sarr, and Chelsea have possession in the left wing back position with Marcus Alonso. He's robbed the possession though by Walker-Peters, and then Alonso slides in and fouls Teller, and it's a free kick to Southampton in a dangerous position near side the right, 5 yards from the corner of the 18-yard box. 0-0.
Southampton have to make these sort of opportunities count. You know, wide free kick, good chance to put the ball into the box unopposed. They've got to have good quality going into the box, because I don't think they're going to get too many chances from open play this evening.
That's at the Matthew Harding end of the ground, the end that is populated entirely by Chelsea supporters. Stuart Armstrong to whip it in right-footed, and it's headed up into the air by Sarr. Not a convincing header, and it loops over the top of the crossbar and behind. And Southampton have their first corner of the game on the near side of the field there, right as we look at it. 0-0. You're listening to TalkSport 2.
So frustrating. There's a decent ball into the box, and not a single Southampton player goes to attack the ball.
Well, there was a lack of conviction in a Southampton side that don't score many goals, certainly in terms of the players that are on the field. They are without their joint top scorers, Southampton, Armando Broja, who's on loan from Chelsea, and Mohamed El Yunusi, who's injured. Stuart Armstrong again, right-footed out-swinging delivery, headed away by Chalobah for Chelsea, up to the edge of the 18-yard box, and now Hudson-Odoi trying to spin away from Diallo. Southampton win it back though. Gineppo looks towards Adam Armstrong, corner of the penalty area. Back to Diallo with the red boots on, one of just two survivors from the weekend. Adam Armstrong goes for goal right-footed from 30 yards, and the ball cannons off James and flies out of play for a throw in front of the West Stand on that far side of the field, a long way from our commentary position.
I don't understand what the point is of Southampton players going up for corners if they're not going to go and attack the ball. You know, one was a free kick, one a corner, but they were decent deliveries into the box, but they're all standing there waiting for the ball to arrive and hit them on the head. You've got to make things happen in the box.
No great height in this Southampton team.
It doesn't matter. If you get a run on somebody and the ball is good and you're there first, it doesn't matter how tall you are. You've at least got to make the effort.
That's the voice of the former England defender, Danny Mills. Alongside me, Joe Shannon. You're listening to TalkSport 2, live from the fourth round of the Carabao Cup at Stamford Bridge. Adam Armstrong spins, turns, finds Teller, 10 yards to the edge of the box. His layoff is poor, cleared away by Chalobah, steered forward confidently by Chalobah to the halfway line. The Chelsea youth product who's made such an impression so far this season, ever since making his Chelsea debut on that opening weekend. And there's a foul here by Barkley, and Southampton, who are having a decent spell in the game, have a free kick.
Barkley was pushed over, wasn't he? Fell onto the ball, and then it didn't hit his hand. It was like it was stuck in his midriff, and the referee didn't really know what to do, so he gave a handball against Ross Barkley.
It was Marcos Alonso, left wing back position, squeezes the ball forward to Kovacic, who hits it first time onto the chest of Malang Sarr. Very impressed by Sarr, Danny, when I saw him in action for Chelsea in the Premier League at Brentford a couple of weeks ago, live on TalkSport. Just his second appearance for Chelsea, but he slotted into that back three seamlessly. And of course, Chelsea have a nervy few months coming up, because four of their key centre-halves, Rudiger, Christensen, Thiago Silva and Azpilicueta, all have their contracts expire at the end of this season.
Yeah, but I'm sure a lot of those will get renewed. There won't be too much problem there. You know, I think they'll all want to stay here. It'll just be length and how much money they get.
There's space for Kovacic here, driving over the halfway line. Barkley to his left, pass is slightly overhit, but nonetheless, three in the middle for Chelsea. 0-0 the score. Barkley up to the corner of the 6-yard box. He's held up. Goes back to Marcos Alonso. Alonso shoots left-footed from the edge of the penalty area. Blocked by Lianco first of all, and then Walker-Peters steers the ball forward down the right-hand side for Southampton. Kepa, the goalkeeper, quickest to it, and Kepa clatters the ball high through the night sky for Chelsea. Jan Valery is there to head it clear, and in the end it's all the way back to Southampton goalkeeper Forster. 12 and a half minutes played. Chelsea 0, Southampton 0 in the fourth round of the Carabao Cup on TalkSport 2. Well, let's get the thoughts of Danny Mills.
I think Kovacic took the wrong option. He came out to this left-hand side and played Barkley, and he overhit it a little bit. The other side was Hakim Ziyech, and I think that would have been a much better option for him to play. By the time Barkley had then sort of come back inside on his right foot, Southampton have got themselves back. But you know, you're talking about Sarr at the back. All of these players, if you get anywhere near the Chelsea first team, you're an outstanding talent. You're a technically very, very good footballer. It's then just about how hard you work.
Here's a chance for Zal, played infield by Hudson-Odoi, looks to thread the ball up to the edge of the penalty area. Valery stretching, does brilliantly to clear, athletic from Valery. Now it's back out wide to Marcos Alonso, infield to Barkley, corner of the penalty area, still 0-0, back out wide to Alonso again, the stand-in skipper tonight for Chelsea, having seemingly lost his place in the Premier League to Ben Chilwell, as England's women now need 7-0 away at Latvia.
What happened to number 6? Did we miss out number 6?
Ella Toon got the goal, and it was followed very quickly, Danny, by Rachel Daly.
Incredible,
with
that.
number 7.
Thought we jumped from 5 to 7 then.
Well, in high-scoring games like that,
they are scoring some goals, aren't they?
They certainly are. Looking very good. And so far, England's women under Sarina Wiegman, the new head coach, who is enjoying a 100% start to her tenure so far. Elsewhere in the Carabao Cup, it's still 0-0 at the Emirates in the game live on TalkSport. Arsenal against Leeds, and QPR against Sunderland is also goalless. QPR of the Championship and Sunderland of League One. We still await the first goal of the night here. If you've just joined us,
how's that not a foul, Joe?
Well, Hudson-Odoi was barged into by Sally Sue, and the referee didn't deem it to be a foul. Either that or he didn't see it. There's a Chelsea man down on the halfway line, Danny. It's Sal who has gone to ground, and surely Chelsea will put the ball out of play here. Sarr eventually does.
Yeah, I didn't see who caught him in that instance. We're just keeping an eye on Hudson-Odoi. He was clattered from behind, but Saul's gone down, holding his knee, I think. He's on his feet without any treatment. I think that's clearly a ploy from Southampton to try and be physical with them if they can.
And still adapting to the rigours of the English game, despite his fine pedigree, we should say. Sal, there's no question of that. He has been given minutes, as I say, in the Carabao Cup in a bid to ease him into this Chelsea side. No Ruben Loftus-Cheek in the squad for Chelsea tonight. They do have a very young midfielder, a teenager in Harvey Vale among the subs, and 2 goalkeepers among the subs tonight. Chelsea and Marcus Bettinelli and the youngster Teddy Sharman-Lowe. Here is Kepa, the second choice for Chelsea, of course, these days, to Edouard Mendy, driving the ball over the halfway line. It's an accurate pass towards Havertz. Valerie came across initially, and then Lianco with the white boots on. The Brazilian gets a foot in. It was an error from Lianco that led to a second goal in the third round against Sheffield United, but Southampton went through anyway, as Havertz goals one, just wide from 25 yards on his right foot. We were right behind that, and the Chelsea fans in front of us were on their feet ready to celebrate a goal. Havertz driving in field and very nearly producing a moment of pure inspiration. It had Forster grasping at thin air, but curled just beyond the far post, and it's still 0-0.
Incredible hit. I thought it was in. It started to bend, and then almost at the last sort of 10 yards, it just straightened up a little bit. It just had a little bit of a wobble, didn't it? I mean, he came in off the left-hand side, glided past a couple of players. No one really got tight to him, and he just thought, you could tell he just thought, oh, you know what, I'm going to hit this. Looking to bend it in the far corner, but not curl it in, absolutely ram it in that far corner. Driven ball with the laces, bit of curl, bit of bend on it as well. Was very unlucky.
It is Kai Havertz who has been asked to take up the mantle and will fill the void left by Timo Werner and, most pertinently, Romelu Lukaku, with both still out injured. Havertz, who scored for the first time since August here at the weekend against Norwich and very nearly repeated the trick there. It's still Chelsea 0, Southampton 0 on TalkSport 2, and a free kick to Southampton on the near side of the field. Walker-Peters led with the edge of the Chelsea penalty area. Back to Stuart Armstrong, who drives it high towards the far post. Up went Gineppo. Now Kepa comes out to claim, and he gets to it easily in front of a much smaller Adam Armstrong.
Southampton have got to make sure they keep hold of the ball. It's very, very difficult when you're being dominated. When you get the ball, you suddenly think we have to score immediately. Well, we don't get the ball that much, so we have to score now while we've got the ball. Sometimes you need that little bit of calmness just to put your foot on the ball, get a few passes in.
Well, Southampton have only won 3 times in all competitions so far this season, just once, of course, in the Premier League at home to Leeds United on the 16th of October. They don't have a bad record in recent seasons here at Stamford Bridge. Most recent victory was on Boxing Day of 2019. There was a thrilling 3-3 draw here in the league last season. They were beaten late on by Chelsea in the Premier League earlier this month. Not after giving them a scare, though. Salisu on the halfway line. Forward to Diallo. Spins, turns, floats the ball on the diagonal up towards Walker-Peters. Headed away by Marcus Alonso. Recycled back towards the edge of the penalty area by Adam Armstrong. Chalobah thumped it over the halfway line and away from danger. And the Yanko will pivot and turn and send it back to his goalkeeper, Forster, with the short sleeves on tonight. Danny, it's what we were saying before the game. It's certainly not reached peak winter yet. We haven't got the thermals or no need for the heaters just yet.
No. If you're running around, it's always short sleeve weather if you're out there running around. Short sleeve, no gloves.
And even Forster, the goalkeeper, partaking in that. A good contingent of Southampton fans have made the trip. Well over 2,000, not far off 3,000 in the shed end away to the left-hand side over 2 tiers. Most of them are on their feet as Barkley goes down, wins a free kick just inside Southampton territory. The first start of the season in a Chelsea shirt for Ross Barkley tonight. Kovacic plays the ball square to Hudson-Odoi, but the referee wants it taken again, which for a player, Danny, must be one of the most frustrating things possible. The ball is moved back a couple of inches.
Yeah, it's like sometimes referees been over officious with things like that. Bear in mind, the free kick is for you because there's been a foul, so it should be to your advantage. So when you're talking a couple of feet, it's like, what's the point?
There is no point. There is Kepa away to the right.
No point in referees?
Well, no point in that particular decision. Forward by Kepa. Up towards Havertz. Headed away by Lianco. Drops down towards Marcus Alonso on the halfway line. And another free kick given this time to Southampton. And Kevin Friend, the man in the middle tonight. Graham Scott is the fourth official. I can see Ralph Hasenhüttl a long way down below us with his tracksuit top and trousers on as the ball is driven long from the free kick high up towards Gineppo. Callum Hudson-Odoi came across and it's out of play for a goal kick to Chelsea. 20 minutes played, 0-0 the score. Chelsea have had the 2 best opportunities so far. Sal forcing Forster into a flying save and Havertz curling wide from 25 yards, but you would think that Hasenhüttl will be relatively pleased with what he's seen so far. Well, certainly he'll be pleased with the score.
Well, yeah, he'll be happy that they haven't conceded yet. I think, but they are getting dominated a little bit.
Salisu out on the left, steers it forward to Shea Adams with his back to goal. He looks to spin away from Chalobah, goes infield to Diallo. Diallo gives it away, surrounded by blue shirts. Diallo had so little room to work with, but now Ziyech has lost out to Adams, and it's Adam Armstrong driving towards goal. Again, he's sandwiched in between 2 Chelsea shirts, and now the home team have possession. It's Ziyech with a sweeping ball over the halfway line, well read by Lianco to win it back. He chests it down, marauds into the Chelsea half, then angles the ball wide to the near side of Walker-Peters, who controls by the corner flag. It's still 0-0 on TalkSport 2. Walker-Peters with a poor cross, and it's cleared away easily by Chalobah at the near post. England's women now lead 8-0 in Latvia. And it's another thumping victory for Serena Wiegmann. Here is Sau flicking the ball over the halfway line for Chelsea. High towards Barkley. It's headed away by Valerie. Barkley certainly playing the furthest forward of the Chelsea midfield 3. In fact, at times it's a front 3 really, with Barkley and Ziyech in support of Havertz, as Valerie, with his broad shoulders, long sleeve shirt on, looks to race down the near side. He's blocked off by Marcus Alonso, and now Kovacic looks to drive forward towards halfway. He's fouled by Diallo, had his shirt tugged, and that will be a yellow card for the Southampton man.
Blatant foul. It's a good decision probably to pull him back, because he would have been away. Chelsea just look fitter and stronger, don't they? They look more powerful, they look sharper,
more confident.
Well, just physically, they're dominating Southampton at the moment.
Arsenal's Leah Williamson, by the way, got that latest England goal. Here is Callum Hudson-Odoi, right wing position, attacking the edge of the penalty area, plays it back to Ziyech, twists, turns, gets it onto his right foot, cleared away at the near post by Salisu for Southampton. Then Diallo is robbed of possession. It's with Marcus Alonso, edge of the D, steers the ball wide to the right hand side, and Hudson-Odoi again, he teases past Gineppo, flicks in the delivery, and it's over the head of Havertz. It's away from Barkley at the far post, and it's behind and out of play for a goal kick to Southampton. Midway through the first half, Chelsea 0, Southampton 0, and you're with TalkSport 2, Danny Mills.
More good play from Chelsea. they're passing the ball around very, very sharply. Loads of confidence, as you say. Hudson-Odoi, his first touch actually let him down a little bit, but it was a fantastic little piece of skill. Sort of a drag back and a Cruyff turn after that to get him into space. Just overhit the cross towards the back post, but at the moment you just get the feeling that it's not going to be long before Chelsea create another really good chance.
They are on top. Forster's clearance out to the far side is poor. Chelsea throw on the halfway line. And ironic cheers from the near capacity crowd here at Stamford Bridge. The ball is flicked forward by Kovacic into opposition territory. Ziyech goes down, wins the free kick off Salisu. 9-0 to England's women now. There's still 9 minutes to go.
We want 10.
I was just going to say. Georgia Stanway.
No, we want 11, come on.
That's made it
Let's be greedy.
England 9. Well, there's plenty of time. I wouldn't be surprised. Here comes Southampton on the attack meanwhile. This game still seeking its first goal. Still waiting for the first goal of round 4 in the Carabao Cup. At any game tonight, Arsenal 0, Leeds 0 on TalkSport. And here is Stuart Armstrong finding Adams on the edge of the penalty area, cleared away initially by Sarr and then by Chalobah. Good composure by Chelsea in that defensive third, and lovely flick from Barkley to find Havertz. The return pass was equally good. Now Marcos Alonso on the halfway line, forward to Havertz. It's a brilliant move this from Chelsea, a brilliant counter-attack. Havertz left on edge of the penalty area, shoots a rising drive. In the end it was relatively lacking in power, tipped away by Forster, but the ease with which Chelsea went from the edge of their own penalty area into the opposition box, but it was a joy to behold, and Chelsea have a corner.
Chelsea look very, very dangerous when they stream forward. The way that they run with the ball, with pace, with power, with purpose, is absolutely magnificent. Havertz didn't have too many options, decided to go down the outside on his left foot, drove it in at the near post, which Fraser Forster always had covered, but Chelsea starting to become more and more dominant in this game.
Corner in front of the near side. Ziyech with it, left-footed. It's cleared away up to the edge of the penalty area. Adam Armstrong is there. He's giving it away though to Hudson-Odoi for Chelsea, who still look menacing in attack. Hudson-Odoi goes back towards the halfway line, plays a 1-2 with Kovacic. He was blocked off, and now Hudson-Odoi will roll it all the way back to Kepa. Still goalless here. It is now 10-0 to England, Danny, in Latvia.
We want 11.
Daily.
Come on, 11 now. 12. How long left?
8 minutes plus stoppage time.
There's 3 goals in that.
I'm not sure there'll be much stoppage time added. We'll see. Well done to England though.
Well, if it's what it's supposed to be 30 seconds for every goal, then, is it?
Then we'll be here all night.
Isn't that what it's supposed to be though? For the goal celebration.
You'll be on the train back up to Yorkshire, Daddy.
30 seconds for a sub, 30 seconds for a goal, isn't it?
Strictly speaking, absolutely. As I say, well done to England. A thoroughly professional job tonight. And we'll get an in-depth look back at that at half-time with our England reporter Flo Lloyd-Hughes. Southampton in possession. Valerie on the halfway line. Steers the ball forward down the right-hand channel. Teller's got pace, but not that much pace to reach a pass that was overhit by 10 yards, and it goes out of play for a goal kick to Chelsea, which Kepa will take in front of the Matthew Harding end.
I just feel if Chelsea get the first goal, it's all over. They are so dominant at the moment, and their attitude has been absolutely first class.
Here is James for Chelsea. Out wide to the far side, and Kovacic. Referee wants this goal kick taken again, I think because of encroachment into the penalty area from Adam Armstrong.
But Chelsea had the ball.
Yes, true.
Play on.
But
play on.
A Southampton player is not allowed in the penalty area as the goal kick is taken, or until the goal kick has been taken.
I know that, but Chelsea had the ball, so it's just like they're passing it around, just play on, ref.
I see what you're saying. There's Walker Peters is fouled. It's another free kick to Southampton just inside opposition territory.
If Shea Adams had won the ball and scored, then fine, call it back, but you're just stopping the game for no real reason there.
Lianco will take the free kick for Southampton on the halfway line, the former Torino player. Clips the ball forward, high, left of centre, up towards Adams, over the head of Adams, who is yet to score so far this season. Adams hasn't scored since the middle of May, and it's out of play again for Chelsea goal kick. We mentioned the Matthew Harding end in full voice again tonight, and Chelsea quite rightly paid tribute to the great Matthew Harding, who did so much for Chelsea Football Club 25 years on from his dreadful passing. And there's a banner behind the goal that commemorates the memory of Matthew Harding away to the right hand side. Here is Diallo for Southampton, level with the edge of the centre circle, gets it back from Adam Armstrong, then he flicks the ball further down the left hand channel. Adams is there first to it, very quick to beat Chalobah to the ball, and now Gineppo crosses and Southampton win a corner with just under half an hour played.
Well, they've got to make the most of this opportunity. Those players in the box have got to go and attack the ball. Deliveries so far have been decent from Armstrong coming into the box, but no one has really gone to attack it. No one has gone, you know what, sometimes when the ball comes in, you just have to make a run. Be positive and make that run, and if the ball comes within a yard of you, you can adjust slightly and get your head on it. If not, you just run underneath it, run past it, and let the person behind do it. But you've got to be positive.
Well, Stuart Armstrong will take it. They've flooded the 6-yard box, Southampton, with red and white shirts. It's Adams with the flick. Adam Armstrong is far post, and it's somehow squeezed wide. Adam Armstrong almost on the goal line as he made contact with it, under pressure albeit from Malang Sarr, and it's gone out of play in the end for a goal kick to Chelsea.
Corner was a little bit better, very, very narrow, right on top. Oh, he's doing it again, ref, come on.
Again after a Southampton player encroached on a Chelsea goal kick.
But did he?
Well, we are a long way away to be able to see that. Kovacic is just speaking to the referee, and I think he's probably making the point that you were making, Dan.
Kovacic is saying, look, just play on, we're not bothered. You're just stopping it for stopping its sake, ref.
And Kevin Friend very much applying the letter of the law. And there was encroachment from Nathan Tella, but Chelsea were not too bothered about that. Anyway, this time Kepa is going to go long to avoid any further delay. Goalless on TalkSport 2 in the fourth round of the Carabao Cup. Our coverage continues tomorrow on TalkSport 2. We've got commentary of Burnley against Tottenham. TalkSport will bring you West Ham against Manchester City on Friday night. In the Championship, we've got Queen's Park Rangers against Nottingham Forest live and in full. And on Saturday, our coverage of the Autumn Nations begins. Scotland against Tonga live at 2:30, followed by Wales against New Zealand at 5:15. Game day back on Saturday over on TalkSport with 3 exclusive Premier League commentaries for you. Leicester, Arsenal, Liverpool, Brighton and Spurs against Manchester United. There's a foul on Adams this time, 10 yards into the Chelsea half.
Just imagine if it was 6-1 again.
Well, unlikely, I would have thought. But, I mean, who knows?
I don't know, have you seen them play?
Have you seen Tottenham?
Well, yeah, that's true. I've not seen
times this season.
Harry Kane's got to score some soon, surely.
We'll find out on TalkSport this Saturday at 5:30.
Both managers under real pressure, aren't they, there in that game?
Absolutely. Nuno and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Here is Sarr for Chelsea. White boots on, poor clearance, straight to Adam Armstrong, and Southampton growing in confidence in the game. The score's still level at 0-0, 32 minutes into the match. Adam Armstrong dribbles away from Sarr on the near side, plays a square ball in field to Walker-Peters. Plenty of Southampton shirts in the penalty area. Walker-Peters, was he fouled? The ball drops to Stuart Armstrong, who shoots, and then Kepa manages to make a good save away to his right-hand side. It was moments after Walker-Peters had gone down, sandwiched in between 2 blue shirts. There were shouts from the away end for a penalty, and then Stuart Armstrong, quickest to the loose ball. Kepa made the initial save and then plunged on it at the second attempt, Danny Mills.
Yeah, I think he just took a little deflection in it on the way through from Armstrong. Just took the sting out of it a little bit. Kepa did really well at full stretch to sort of palm it and almost kill it stone dead. It bounced up very, very slightly, and then he dived on the second one. But Walker-Peters, yeah, you're right. The away fans screaming for a penalty, but it wasn't. It was just a shoulder to shoulder.
Stuart Armstrong again, 25 yards out, left of centre. Thought about going for goal, sets up Teller instead. Teller tries a neat little flick. He got it all wrong though. James with an easy tackle for Chelsea. It's steered away by Chalobah, and that was a nervy few moments for Chelsea there. But now they're on the counter-attack. Lianco does well. Comes across the sturdy number 4. Gets beyond Ziyech, gets beyond Marcus Alonso. Eventually carries the ball out of play, but that was a confidence-boosting interception from the Brazilian centre-half. Chelsea have it back. 5 minutes to go. 1-0 Southampton. Marcos Alonso on the diagonal, crossfield, a brilliant ball for Hudson-Odoi, trying to take it in his stride, trying to take on Gineppo, who slides into half, win it back. The loose ball fell to Havertz. He tried to flick the ball Johan Cruyff style towards Hudson-Odoi, couldn't do so. Southampton have it back, and they go all the way back to Fraser Forster, who clears long and high downfield.
I think one of the biggest differences between the two teams is in the final third. Chelsea look confident, they look to have a plan. When they get in those positions, they have one touch and they make that pass, they know what they're doing. Southampton have got in those positions and it's, shall I play it? No. I'll play a different, nope. Should I? Nope. It's just hesitation and stuttering every single time, and then by the time you do that, the chance is gone. I mean, it's a very, very simple game at times. See it do it.
As Marcos Alonso is back facing away from the halfway line, facing towards his own goal, fouled by Stuart Armstrong. It's been a stop-start first half at times. Chelsea have a free kick just midway inside their own half, and Malang Sarr will take it. Just his third Chelsea appearance. Square to Chalobah. He's got a white bandage on his left wrist, and now Reece James playing at centre half tonight after his goal against Norwich at the weekend. Lovely reverse ball by Havertz, Ziyech evades Havertz, sort of rolled under his foot, couldn't control, maybe slightly overhit by the Moroccan, and out of play it goes for a Southampton throw in their left back spot, and just one or two signs of frustration in the Chelsea crowd starting to appear. Gineppo, left back spot for Southampton. He's run the ball straight out of play, and Hudson-Odoi will want to take this throw quickly for Chelsea. It's midway into opposition territory in front of that huge West Stand on the far side of the field. Now Sal for Chelsea. Virtually gives it away, does give it away to Adam Armstrong. Loose ball dropped for Sal again, midway inside his own half, nudges it forward to Havertz. Havertz tries to loft it infield to Barkley, but never really had it under control. Teller looking to spin on the halfway line. Well tackled, firm but fair by James. And now Ziyech playing in Hudson-Odoi down the right-hand side. Gets to the dead ball line, pulls it back towards Ziyech. That was the wrong option. Stuart Armstrong comes across to intercept, and Southampton get it away to the halfway line. 9 minutes of the first half remaining, plus stoppage time on TalkSport 2. Chelsea 0, Southampton 0.
Another good breakaway from Chelsea. Southampton giving the ball away. Hudson-Odoi cutting the ball back for Ziyech, who'd gone to sleep a little bit. He wasn't really expecting it and wasn't really looking for that ball.
Oh, here's a chance for Hudson-Odoi in behind. He just can't reach the reverse pass, threaded towards him by Mateo Kovacic, and it's gone out of play, and it's a goal kick to Southampton.
Chelsea just off it at the moment, aren't they, in that final third? They're trying the right balls, they're making the right passes, they haven't quite got their radar in yet, and they just, everything's just a foot, 2 foot over hit at the moment, but you just feel sooner or later that's going to come good.
These two clubs have met in 2 previous League Cup ties. Chelsea won both, 3-2 on aggregate in the second round in 1981 and 2-1 here in 1997 in round 4. One Jody Morris scoring the winner, and homegrown Chelsea players have been a hot topic in the last couple of days with the exploits of those who came through the ranks at Cobham at the weekend against Norwich. Hat-trick for Mason Mount, Hudson-Odoi and James on the score sheet too. Here is Sal for Chelsea on the halfway line. Poor first-time pass, straight to Salisu. And Diallo has his shirt tugged by Sal, and Ralph Hasenhüttl feels, for consistency's sake, I think that should be a yellow card for Sal, who, again, just a little off the pace at times. Danny, is that fair?
Yeah, I think it's difficult, isn't it? The pace of Spanish football is totally different to what you play in the Premier League and against English teams week in, week out. You know, plus there's the move. That's never easy. You know, settling into a new environment, new house, new club, all these types of things have an effect on it as well. We saw that with Kai Havertz maybe early on, you know, in the first few months.
Here goes Adam Armstrong for Southampton, up to the edge of the D, looks for Shea Adams in the penalty area, out came Kepa. Southampton feel there was a back pass from Sarr, just a deft touch to the gloves of his goalkeeper. The referee and his assistant on the near side both say no. Adams looked like he might have been in an offside position anyway. There's no VAR regardless in the Carabao Cup. Adams with his back to goal looks to find Diallo, and Southampton are still on the attack. Diallo left of centre, approaching the corner of the penalty area. Slides in Stuart Armstrong, who crosses. The cross takes a deflection. It's cleared away by Chalobah, and the corner prevented by Reece James, who looks for Havertz with a lofted ball over the halfway line. Havertz in a foot race with Lianco, who's had an excellent game so far. Lianco comes across and wins a free kick.
Yeah, Havertz hasn't quite got that turn of pace, has he, to get past Lianco in that situation. But again, Southampton into a good position. Don't really look confident, don't really look drilled in what they're going to do when they get into the final third. They're hesitant, they're looking round.
And line changes made by Ralph Hasenhüttl tonight. Armando Broja not available against his parent club, the Chelsea loanee, the man who scored 2 of Southampton's last 3 goals, and the other man to score, Tino Livramento, who used to play for Chelsea, and Chelsea reportedly do have a buyback clause for the 18-year-old, is only on the bench tonight for Southampton. Chelsea 0, Southampton 0. TalkSport 2, live from the Carabao Cup. 5 minutes of normal time remaining at the end of the first half. 1 or 2 Chelsea supporters here in the upper tier of the East Stand, heading to the concourse areas ahead of half-time. As Kepa drives the ball forward over the halfway line. A clever pass, very expertly directed onto the chest of Havertz, and Havertz plays a 1-2 with Marcos Alonso, then goes infield to Barkley. Barkley looks up, shapes the drive forward, plays it square to Ziyech, 30 yards from goal. Lovely ball onto Hudson-Odoi, controls on an angle inside the penalty area, back to Ziyech, first time shot is blocked. Now James takes over, first time pass infield to Kovacic. Chelsea going back towards the lip of the centre circle. Now Kovacic plays it forward, it's headed away by Lianco, and again thumping the ball up into the air, so high the Brazilian that it dropped above the Stamford Bridge roof, and we couldn't see it from our commentary position. But Southampton defend effectively enough again. Forward by Sarr, high down the left wing. Marcos Alonso will get to it easily in front of Walker Peters. He drills in the cross. Again, Lianco's there to flick the ball clear with his head this time. Out of play for a Chelsea foul on the far side, bare right, Danny.
Chelsea getting stronger and stronger. You know, dominating. They're just waiting for that one little moment.
Here's Havertz on the edge of the D, trying to provide it, shooting left-footed, well blocked by Valerie, and the loose ball spins into the gloves, the arms of Forster, and to safety for Southampton, at least for now. A full time in Latvia. Latvia 0, England's women 10.
No, that's
in that World Cup qualifier.
Disappointed they didn't get 11.
Well, they declared, didn't they, Danny, I think, with 8 minutes to go, but again, a thoroughly professional display.
It's a bit like Liverpool did at the weekend, wasn't it? They declared at 5.
And that was another blistering display. Chelsea got 7 here against Norwich, 4 for Manchester City away at Brighton at the weekend. And Chelsea, who have a trip to Newcastle to come at the weekend, and then they're in Malmo of Sweden for their latest group game in the Champions League, and that will be live on TalkSport 2. More and more Chelsea fans now walking down the steps and heading for the concourse areas ahead of half-time. It's still 0-0 elsewhere in the Carabao Cup. Arsenal against Leeds and Queen's Park Rangers against Sunderland. The Arsenal-Leeds game is live at the moment over on TalkSport, but if anything happens, we'll let you know. The throw on the far side for Southampton. Gineppo hurls it over the halfway line. It takes a couple of bounces. It was more in hope than expectation, that long throw. Chalobah sees it back to Kepa. How good is Trevor Chalobah, Danny?
He's looking comfortable, but I think Sarr as well has looked really good at the moment. You know, comfortable on the ball, athletic, good defender. Like I said earlier, you don't get anywhere near this first team at Chelsea or any Premier League first team unless you're a really talented player. You know, you've got to have a lot of ability, you've got to have a lot of talent. It's then about hard work and application.
And Thomas Tuchel is a stickler for that. He was speaking in the week about Callum Hudson-Odoi's need for patience and admitting that he is sometimes a little hard on him. Even despite Hudson-Odoi's impressive display at the weekend, he starts at right wing back tonight. Sal tripping the ball with his left foot over the halfway line. A brilliant pass for Marcus Alonso, who's got lots of space to dart into the penalty area, teases it across, and Lianco turns it behind, and Chelsea have a corner with the score still 0-0, and there are just over 90 seconds of normal time remaining at the end of the first half.
Kyle Walker-Peters considered himself very, very fortunate. He was caught out of position by 10-15 yards, and he was lucky that ball was just floated over the top. If that had been driven, there's no chance he was going to catch Marcus Alonso.
That's the voice of Danny Mills, former England right back. Here is Ziyech to take the corner for Chelsea. It'll be a left-footed outswinger, near side of the field, between the east stand and the shed end, right in front of the Southampton fans. Ziyech floats in the delivery, and it's headed in, and Chelsea have the lead, and it's Kai Havertz who's flicked it beyond Forster, and Havertz stepping up to the plate in the absence of both Lukaku and Werner. He scores in back-to-back games for Chelsea here at Stamford Bridge, and just before half-time, it's the home side who finally make the breakthrough. It's Chelsea 1, Southampton 0.
It's just a simple corner routine. Havertz doesn't have to do too much for that. It's just standing there effectively. There's 2 or 3 Chelsea players in and around it. He just out-jumps 2 Southampton defenders. It's on his head, nestles into the far corner. Yeah, great delivery, good header, but look, he doesn't have to do anything. It's just a standing jump. Southampton, very much like they are at the other end of the pitch from set pieces, didn't attack the ball. Just allowed Havertz almost to hit him on the head and just deflect it into the far corner. Great time for Chelsea to score.
It certainly is, and on the balance of play, you would have to say it's a deserved lead for Chelsea as we enter a minute of first half stoppage time here on TalkSport 2. A third of the season for Kai Havertz. Here is Valery though for Southampton. Right hand side, now up to the edge of the penalty area. Drives the dead ball line, pulls it back. Chalobah very calm. One touch control, and then another to lash it high and over the halfway line. And I think desperate frustration for Ralph Hasenhüttl and Southampton that the goal they've conceded has come from a set play, and a simple, straightforward set play at that.
It was a good delivery into the box, but that's all it was. It was just standard. Not a single Southampton player goes and attacks the ball. That's really poor. If I'm Ralph Hasenhüttl in that dressing room, I'm going in and I'm digging out my defenders immediately. You've got to challenge for the ball. Can't let him have a free header 7 yards from goal.
Well, they did, and they were punished, and Kai Havertz has scored the goal that has Chelsea in front at half-time here, and has Chelsea 45 minutes away from a place in the quarter-finals of the Carabao Cup. They were dominant from very early on. Sal forcing a terrific save from Forster. Havertz curling just wide from 25 yards, an early showing of his goal-scoring intent. Southampton's best chance of the first period fell to Stuart Armstrong. In the end, his deflected shot was well saved by Kepa in the Chelsea goal, but Ziyech with the delivery from the corner on the near side of the field just before half-time. Havertz with the downward header beyond the diving goalkeeper, and it's Chelsea 1, Southampton 0. Second half here at Stamford Bridge is just about to get underway, and indeed Chelsea have kicked us off again, leading by a goal to nil here under the floodlights in West London, playing from left to right in the second half towards the Matthew Harding end of the stadium. Royal blue shirts, royal blue shorts and white socks. Southampton playing from right to left towards the admirably vocal travelling fans at the shed end. Southampton in red and white striped shirts, black shorts and black socks. And Chelsea have Kepa in goal, James, Chalobah and Sarr the back three. No changes at half-time. Hudson-Odoi, Kovacic, Saul and Marcus Alonso, Barkley, Ziyech and Havertz the goal scorer. Southampton, Forster in goal, Valery, Lianco and Salisu, with Walker-Peters and Gineppo the wing-backs, Diallo and Stuart Armstrong in the middle, Teller, Adam Armstrong and Adams the three furthest forward for Southampton, who can look back with maybe some hope at their performance in the Premier League meeting between these two sides 24 days ago. Yes, they lost the game, but they were in it for long periods, even despite going down to 10 men when James Ward-Prowse was sent off, as the Yankos steers the ball over the halfway line. But they are behind to Chelsea again tonight, as plenty of spectators start to come back to their seats with the second half already underway. And alongside me in the commentary box, high at the back of the East Stand, is the former England defender Danny Mills.
Not too sure what Southampton are going to do in this second half. They were completely outplayed in the first. Chelsea were very, very dominant. I think they had just the one real sort of half chance. The deflected shot from Armstrong that went through to Kepa saved relatively comfortable. They've got to be very, very careful. If they do push up and start looking for a goal, they can easily get hit on the counter-attack.
And Southampton on the attack right at the start of the second half, and Adams has tapped the ball in from a yard, and they do have an equaliser. Walker-Peters denied by the goalkeeper, the ball squirmed underneath Kepa, and then Shea Adams from on the goal line has thundered Southampton level. It is Chelsea 1, Southampton 1, and it is game on in round 4.
And then there's always the curse of the commentator. When I told you I don't know what Southampton are doing this second half and how they're going to get back into it. Completely out of the blue, Kyle Walker-Peters down the right-hand side, sort of just drifted into the box, drove one in at the near post. I mean, he hit it really hard. Kepa got a hand on it. It sort of bounced around, sort of up and down for a minute, didn't it? And it was like, well, who was going to get to it first? Southampton, the liveliest by far, seized on that opportunity and get themselves back into the game. But I mean, that just came from absolutely nowhere.
Should Kepa have done better? Potentially. It was a half save, and Shea Adams was there to follow up.
I think it's harsh. I think it's hard because it's driven in with such pace from about 10-12 yards away, and it's in and around near his body. He does well to get a hand on it, I think. He doesn't have an awful lot of time to react, full stop. He gets the initial save, he stops it going in the back of the net, and I guess maybe he's a little bit unlucky that Shea Adams is in the right place at the right time, and the Chelsea defenders don't quite react as quickly.
Chelsea 1, Southampton 1 on TalkSport 2. Here is Hudson-Odoi near side the right for Chelsea. Plays a 1-2 with Ziyech. Chelsea shocked into action here. Havertz inside the penalty area. Onto his left foot. Great save by Forster. And Walker-Peters will clear the ball away. Forster actually dived the wrong way, but just stuck out one of those long legs to turn away Hudson-Odoi's shot. What a start to the second period here. And actually, there are some fans who've missed it. They're still coming back to their seats. Marcos Alonso now on the edge of the box. Robbed by Valery, who sloppily gives it straight back to Sal. Sal with an even worse pass though. And here is Adam Armstrong racing down the left-hand side. Teller in the middle. Adam Armstrong cuts away from James, then goes back onto his left foot, then onto his right. Goes for goal from 30 yards and curls it high over the top. Well, I tell you what, Danny Mills,
that was a bit of Roy.
Exploded now.
Yeah, that was a bit Roy the Rover, though, wasn't it? You know, from Armstrong there, as he came in on this right-hand side, he went back towards his own goal, ended up like 30 yards, and then tried to drive one in the far corner. That was never going to go in. But just before that, Fraser Forster, you're right. It's a good job he's 9'10", whatever he is. It's an absolutely outstanding save, wasn't it, with his legs. He was nearly very unlucky, because as he saved it with his legs and sort of like swept it clear, he almost swept it into the path. I think it was Ziyech on the far side, but fortunately it went to Kyle Walker-Peters, who was then able to clear the ball. But yeah, so that goal has really made this game come to life, because before that I did not see Southampton getting back into it at all.
The 2017 finalists are level, and Shea Adams has his first goal since the middle of May, his first goal of this campaign for the Scotland international.
He doesn't miss from there.
Well, not from on the goal line.
It was a good six inches out.
Even I could have had a good go.
Well, you say that, Joe. I think a swing and a miss might have been
more likely. Well, a goal's a goal, and Southampton are level, and the away supporters loud and proud at the shed end. They were singing When the Saints Go Marching in a few moments ago. Here is Havertz down the left for Chelsea. Marcos Alonso further forward. He's been played in, the stand-in Chelsea captain tonight. From the dead ball line, crosses poorly. Intercepted by Lianco, who wanted too much time on the ball and immediately was under pressure from Ziyech, but the last touch off the Moroccan, and it's a goal kick to Southampton, who are buoyant here. 5-6 minutes now into the second half. Chelsea 1, Southampton 1.
That's a real shot on the arm for Southampton, because honestly, I thought they were out. I thought they were dead and buried. You know, at 1-0 down, they didn't really look like getting back into the game. It just goes to show, you know, that little half chance drove the ball goalwards, and then all of a sudden, you know, they're back into it from nowhere, but they've got to keep their concentration.
And here is Havertz racing into the penalty area down the Chelsea right. His touch was heavy, and Lianco got in front of him and managed to shield the ball, and it went through to Fraser Forster, and the chance for Chelsea is gone. Really exciting balance to this game now. Teller for Southampton, midway inside opposition territory. Back to Stuart Armstrong, the captain with the white boots on. And now Salisu. One or two Chelsea fans on their feet in front of us, trying to cajole the home players as Gineppo crosses in the left, a right-footed in-swinging ball. It's gone behind for a goal kick.
That Kai Havertz chance was a little bit like Mo Salah at the weekend. Now, he ran through and his touch was a little bit heavy, but because Mo Salah is so quick, he was able to get on the end of that and then just dink it over David De Gea. Kai Havertz hasn't quite got that pace, so that heavy touch just allowed the defender to come back in, and it rolled through to Fraser Forster in the end.
And 3 straight wins for Chelsea coming into tonight at Stamford Bridge. The only time they conceded in that run was to Southampton, who have struck back again here in the Carabao Cup. Stuart Armstrong, lovely skill on the halfway line to flick it beyond 2 blue shirts. Good sliding tackle on him by Kovacic for Chelsea, but it's only got as far as Adam Armstrong. Corner of the penalty area. Shot is well saved by Kepa, diving down to his left-hand side to tip it away. Southampton on the rise. Walker-Peters from the edge of the box. Finds Stuart Armstrong again. Twisting, turning, edge of the D. Chelsea on the ropes here. Stuart Armstrong still goes. Was he fouled on the edge of the box? Surely he was. Referee says no. Chelsea give it away. Salisu, wide to Gineppo. Clips into delivery. All the way to the far post. Now Walker-Peters with his back to goal. He's got Alonso for company. Corner of the 18-yard area. Sets up Valerie on the overlap. Far side in front of the West Stand. Back in field it goes to Stuart Armstrong once more. Lovely reverse ball for Teller, who cuts it back. Chalobah clears inside the 6-yard box. These are nervy moments for Chelsea, and Southampton look a completely different side. But now Havertz is looking to tease Lianco just inside the opposition half. Havertz has managed to knock it wide to Ziyech. The game is end to end. It's like basketball here. Ziyech infield from the right, sets up Callum Hudson-Odoi, plays it through to Barkley, and out comes Forster to save with his legs, and the ball goes behind, and the referee says goal kick in the end to Southampton. 1-1. Here's Danny Mills.
I've no idea how he's got a goal kick out of that, but he has done somehow. I mean, it's incredibly open at the moment. Southampton can't defend. Chelsea are fantastic on the counter-attack with their pace. So Southampton are just throwing caution to the wind at the moment, throwing bodies forward, trying to get people into the box. Just need to take a breath at the moment. They just need to calm themselves down a little bit. They've got themselves back into the game. Southampton don't have to win it in the next 5 minutes.
Well, you have to give credit to Southampton for the second half response. It would be easy to go under here at Stamford Bridge, given Chelsea's form not just recently but this season, of course. Flicked by Havertz up towards the edge of the penalty area. Lianco shanks his clearance high up into the dark night sky off his right boot. It's out of play for a Chelsea throw on the far side of the field, taken by Marcos Alonso. Looks for Barkley, who trots back, finds Marcos Alonso. Now Havertz in space in the box, plays it square for Ziyech. His effort is turned away by Salisu. Suddenly Havertz had the freedom of the penalty area. Now Sal darting down the left-hand side, and Alonso on the overlap crosses, and a diving header clear by Lianco, and Chelsea win a corner. 1-1, 10 minutes into the second half. You're listening to Talk Sport 2.
That must be 4 or 5 really good chances Chelsea have created, though. If they're a bit more clinical in this second half, as good as Southampton have been, their attitude's been much better. They could have easily conceded 2 or 3 goals. Chelsea going forward, just finding gaps all the time in that Southampton defence.
Corner at the Matthew Harding end. Ziyech again will take it, left-footed, out-swinging towards Havertz. That combination looking to threaten once more. Southampton get it away, only as far as Chalobah near side. Good tackle by Gineppo. Southampton trying to stay disciplined and organised. Hudson-Odoi, deep reverse ball to the far post, and Ziyech controls on the corner of the penalty area. Surely was fouled. It is a free kick for Chelsea. It was a bad tackle from Adams. and Southampton have some defending to do here as Arsenal take the lead in the Carabao Cup at the Emirates against Leeds United. Callum Chambers with the goal that breaks the deadlock. That game is live right now over on Talk Sport.
From this position, it's basically on the corner of the 18-yard box, isn't it? Just 1 yard closer to the touchline. Looks like Marcus Alonso's over it. Is it Ross Barkley there as well? I'd be tempted to shoot. If I was Ross Barkley, I'd be tempted to try and whip this into the far corner. One of those free kicks, but where if no one gets a touch, the goalkeeper's a little bit confused because he's expecting someone to nick it, and it just drifts in to the far corner. That's the ball that I think that whoever's going to take this might be Callum Hudson-Odoi.
Reece James is over there too.
I think that's the free kick that you've got to look for from this position, looking to score at the far post, and if someone gets a touch, brilliant.
It's taken short to James, who calls it, and it's tipped over the top by Forster. Just a flick of the wrist from the giant Southampton goalkeeper, and Chelsea have themselves another set piece. It's another corner on the near side this time as we look at it, between the east stand and the Matthew Harding end, and Chelsea really threatening here. Some rapturous applause on the near side for Ross Barkley, who will take it. Again, Southampton have everybody back inside the penalty area to defend. 57.5 minutes played, and the score is 1-1. Barkley whips it in right-footed. It's an outswinging delivery, and it's a free header, and it's a simple save in the end for the goalkeeper Forster, who then clears high downfield. Kepa read it well and is able to get it away. The Chelsea goalkeeper at the other end. It was Sal with the header for Chelsea, and a free header, as I say, but Forster with a simple stop. Now Havertz though, collecting the ball on the edge of the penalty area, setting up Barkley on the angle, and Forster blocks it at the near post, and Southampton all over the place again defensively.
What is Djenepo trying to do? I mean, that ball's coming like I think it was Ziyech, wasn't it? Pinged an absolute exocet right across the pitch. It was sort of neck high, and for some reason he's tried to chest the ball and bring it down when it's travelling about 150 miles an hour. Sure, all he's got to do there is just head it clear, but because he tries to be too clever, he gives the ball away. That allows Alonso onto it, and then Barkley, and they get a shot away.
Corner's taken short to Hudson-Odoi, who angles the pass back out wide to Barkley. Puts it back into the area for Hudson-Odoi again. Right-hand edge of the box, back to Barkley. Corner of the penalty area, crosses. Good header away by Salisu. Barkley heads it back across towards the edge of the D. And there's a foul by Barkley as he was jumping for the header on Stuart Armstrong, who's gone down, the Southampton captain on the night. And a free kick to Southampton on the edge of their own penalty area. And with just under an hour played, it's 1-1, and Southampton survived again.
And they've been a little bit lucky, if we're honest. You know, Chelsea have had some 3 or 4 really good chances. Sound again with that free header from the corner. Southampton's not learned the lesson. They conceded from a corner in the first half. No one really attacked the ball. They've allowed a free header.
Thomas Tuchel is screaming at the fourth official on the near side touchline.
Well, Southampton have used that injury as a drinks break. That's what they've done. The trainer hasn't come on, and all the players have come over to pick a drink up and pick up some instructions from Ralph Hasenhüttl, and I think that's why Thomas Tuchel's a little bit frustrated.
A reminder of the scores elsewhere. Arsenal 1, Leeds 0, QPR 0, Sunderland 0, and it's Chelsea 1, Southampton 1 here at Stamford Bridge on TalkSport 2. Marcus Alonso has possession, left wing back position, finds Sarr under pressure, back pass a little short, and Kepa had to rush his clearance. He did well. Sends the ball up over the halfway line. Jan Valery wearing number 43. The Southampton defender is there. Threads the ball down the right hand side towards Teller. He's intercepted by Sarr, who then knocks it straight out of play, but the assistant was flagging anyway, offside, and Chelsea will get themselves a free kick midway into their own territory. The coverage of the Carabao Cup continues tomorrow. West Ham against the current holders, and the team have won it 4 times in a row. Manchester City is on TalkSport. Burnley Spurs here on TalkSport 2. Friday night football in the Championship. We've got QPR against Nottingham Forest, and then game day back on Saturday. Leicester against Arsenal, Liverpool against Brighton, and Spurs against Manchester United. All exclusively live over on TalkSport. Salisu with a half interception in the centre circle. Stuart Armstrong sends Barkley sprawling, and that's undoubtedly a free kick for Chelsea at the lip of the centre circle. You've got to credit Southampton though, Danny, for staying in the game. By hook or by crook, they've worked themselves an equaliser, and now it's about holding off this Chelsea siege.
You're right, they did incredibly well for 47 minutes to get the equaliser. But already, would you say they're hanging on?
A little bit. And Forster's made a couple of terrific saves. And Chelsea are dominating possession. And Southampton would have been aware of that probability.
Yes, can they hang on for another 30 minutes?
It's going to be difficult against a side as free-flowing as this Chelsea team, particularly at home. Here is Alonso, floating it forward to Havertz, left-wing position, looks menacing as he darts into the box, tried to pull it back towards the on-rushing Alonso. Cleared away by Valery at the near post. He saw it coming, he read the game well. Marcos Alonso has not scored since the opening weekend of the Premier League season. Now Walker-Peters raining down the Southampton right. Checks inside Sal. Cross takes deflection. Hudson-Odoi with a poor clearance. Clumsy volley. Sliced out of play. Southampton throw deep inside Chelsea territory. Right at the bottom of this huge east stand where the dugouts are located, and we're right at the top of it, just to the left of the halfway line. Halfway inside the end that Southampton are attacking. Towards the shed end in the second half. Those near 3,000 supporters behind the goal. Salisu with the long throw. Headed away by Chalobah at the heart of the Chelsea back line. And now Kovacic trying to get forward. It's knocked downfield by Lianco though. All the way through to Kepa. The Carabao Cup regulations permit 5 substitutes. And should you wish to make them, how long before we see a change from either head coach? Here is Diallo for Southampton, spinning away. Brilliant tackle though from Kovacic midway inside his own half to win it back. It's only temporary. Adam Armstrong carries it into the penalty area, drills in the cross, steered away on the slide by Chalobah, hooked out of play by Kovacic, and Southampton have a corner in front of the away fans.
Southampton just need a bit more composure in the final third. They've got themselves in some really good positions, and then they've either hesitated or panicked a little bit and just, driven the ball in aimlessly at times, and it's hit a Chelsea defender. A little bit more composure, take that deep breath and just pick out the right pass.
Shea Adams, the goal scorer, was down momentarily, gets back up to his feet. 1-1 in the 64th minute. Stuart Armstrong will take this. White boots on the captain. It'll be a right-footed in-swinger from the near side of the field. Floated in towards the near post. Could drop inside the penalty area for Adams, who heads it back across goal. Away by Marcos Alonso at the far post for Chelsea. Nobody in red and white was able to get to it for Southampton.
I think the first one hit Lianco, didn't it, on the head? Almost looked like it hit him on the back of the head. And he had no idea where it was going, and it sort of just, fortunately for Chelsea, it just sort of looped up harmlessly back into the air.
There's a cluster of players in that 6-yard box. Teller, reverse pass towards Adams. Good interception by Sarr, midway inside his own half. Feeds it forward 20 yards to Havertz, whose layoff is poor towards Barkley, not on the same wavelength. Kovacic gets in front of Teller, but it's won back by Lianco. It's a brilliant run, looking to play it through towards Adams, and Lianco's got it back 30 yards from goal. The Brazilian defender goes wide to the far side, and Walker-Peters attacking the right-hand edge of the penalty area, trying to drive in the cross, turned away by the shins of Marcos Alonso. Southampton have a throw, and suddenly 20 minutes into the second period, this game really is up for grabs, and Southampton are getting Theo Walcott and Shane Long ready as they bid to make a double change, and they might do that now. In fact, they are going to do it now. And Shea Adams, the goal scorer, is one of the players to come off for Southampton. It's a rare appearance for Shane Long.
But you know what Shane Long will do? He will work hard. He will work his socks off. He will chase. He will harry. He will put those defenders under pressure. And Theo Walcott as well. Obviously got an abundance of pace. He's got quality as well. I think, Ralph Hasenhuttl, all credit to him. He suddenly thought, you know what? Whereas maybe at half-time we're going to have to hang on and try and stay in the game, suddenly now he's thinking, you know what? We can probably go and win this.
And potentially in normal time as well. Nathan Teller, the other Southampton player to leave the field, and here comes Theo Walcott, who rejoined Southampton permanently in the summer after his loan spell from Everton. his now former club. And Chelsea going to make a double change as well. Hakim Ziyech, maybe not surprisingly, leaving the field. Mason Mount, who scored a hat-trick at the weekend, is his replacement. And Ben Chilwell is ready to come on as well. And I wouldn't be surprised if this was a straight swap, but what do I know?
No, it's Ross Barkley.
It's not a straight swap. Big cheers for Mason Mount. Ross Barkley coming off, and Ben Chilwell, the other Chelsea change.
I mean, Mason Mount is the next John Terry, isn't he? You know, coming through the ranks, one of their own, playing superb football, great lad as well, absolutely superb. You know, everything about him just seems right. Professionalism, the way that he carries himself, his ability, the way how hard he works. He will exert a little bit more control on this game.
And keep an eye on the Chelsea shape, Danny, in case there is a change of shape. With Chilwell now on the field in particular. Long throw for Southampton up towards the edge of the 6-yard box. Mount's first touch is an important one to guide it away. Adam Armstrong still lurking on the edge of the penalty area, tries to flick it further forward for Southampton, and then there's a foul on Marcus Alonso, the assistant referee, waving his yellow flag rather frantically on the far side. It was a foul by Walker Peters, and immediately Theo Walcott has gone to ground on the far side just moments after coming on. And looks like it might be a head injury. The Southampton physio yet to come onto the field. 1-1 the score.
I can't believe the referee didn't call him on immediately. He's waited a good minute. Theo Walcott's clearly got a bang on the head, and it doesn't matter whether the referee's asked him, are you okay, do you want treatment? The referee should have those physios on absolutely immediately.
And in the end, the two physios do take to the field. The Southampton players come across to take on some water and one or two instructions as well. 1-1 with 22 minutes to go on TalkSport 2. And Danny Mills, former winner of the League Cup with Middlesbrough in 2004, this is still very much up for grabs.
Yeah, without a doubt. I think we had penalties at this stage of the competition. I think against Everton. Because then we went on and played Tottenham after that and had penalties again. So,
are you thinking about penalties if you're Southampton, if you're Ralph Hasenhüttl
take them now.
At this point?
If I was Ralph Hasenhüttl now, I would take penalties. After that first half performance, yes. Give me penalties now, not a problem. You know, call the game off, go straight to it. But I think now, especially with Mason Mount coming on, Chilwell's going to play right wing back. Hudson-Odoi's got into that sort of where Ziyech was playing, and Mount's got into that Barkley position.
Free kick for Southampton. Shane Long was fouled on the near side touchline by a flailing Reece James, and Southampton having a really good spell in the game as they look to turn this one around and get themselves in front. Shane Long is making just his third appearance of the season tonight. All of them have been off the bench. He hasn't scored for Southampton since February of 2020, but
he's got the nuisance factor, hasn't he? He works so hard, puts people under pressure so much. He's one of those players where he's just constantly annoying, in a good way.
Stuart Armstrong, free kick, midway inside the Chelsea half, infield from the near side, it's whipped into the penalty area, headed away, comes out to Hudson-Odoi, who couldn't control, Diallo on the edge of the D, no way through for Adam Armstrong, past the cluster of Chelsea blue shirts, and Chelsea on the counter-attack. Mount tried to whip the ball cross-field, it was the obvious pass towards Kai Havertz, not necessarily, I don't think, the easiest of balls, but he mishit it completely, and it's gone all the way through to Forster, as Arsenal take a 2-0 lead now at home to Leeds in the Carabao Cup. Arsenal surely heading through to the quarter-finals. Eddie Nketiah has got that goal.
That'll be a sweet one, won't it, for Eddie Nketiah? Obviously had that spell at Leeds, never really got too many opportunities under Marcelo Bielsa, but you have to think now, 2-0.
That is surely that.
Yeah, he'd be very, very surprised.
Another goal in the Carabao Cup for Eddie Nketiah, who scored a stunner against Wimbledon in the previous round at the Emirates Stadium. Another free kick for Southampton. Left of centre, different angle for Stuart Armstrong here. It's midway inside the Chelsea territory. 40-50 yards from goal. Chelsea, everybody back in royal blue, holding a very high defensive line that takes them at least 6-7 yards from the edge of the penalty area. It's 1-1 on TalkSport 2, and there are less than 20 minutes to play in this fourth round tie. Remember, if the score's level at 90 minutes, we go straight to penalty kicks. Stuart Armstrong to whip it in, right-footed up towards Long at the far post. He heads it down. Nobody there able to reach the loose ball, and in the end it harmlessly goes wide for a goal kick to Chelsea.
Well, it really is end-to-end now. The second half, because of that goal so early on, has really sort of opened up. I mean, Southampton are almost playing a little bit like Leeds at the moment. They've almost gone man for man, haven't they, all over the pitch?
Well, it's working for them.
It makes it a very, very open game, though, doesn't it?
It certainly does. And Southampton, who have scored plenty of goals in this competition so far, 11 now in total, including 8 away at Newport in round 2. Here is Shane Long, near side the left, wearing number 7. Offside flag goes up just as Adam Armstrong was darting into the penalty area. Walcott was far post 2, having recovered after that knock that he took, having just come on a few minutes ago. And Chelsea struggling to find real control of this game at the moment. They've only lost once at home all season so far, Chelsea, and that was to Manchester City. But it's a poor ball out of defence by Chalobah. Lianco looks to take it up for Southampton, but his touch was heavy, his tackle was clumsy, and it's now a Chelsea free kick.
Southampton, they're going man for man pretty much all over the pitch. At times they're going 4 for 4 at the back. That's brave. The problem is it just takes one moment of genius from those Chelsea players, which they are more than capable of, or it just takes one mistake and you allow Chelsea into it. So brave from Ralph Hasenhüttl at the moment. He's clearly going for the win, but it's very much, man for man all over the pitch from Southampton.
Jan Valery looking to drive forward, stopped in his tracks by Kovacic, who feeds Hudson-Odoi. Massive gap here for Hudson-Odoi to thread it through to Havertz. Angle is tight inside the penalty area, pulls it back towards Mount, could come to Sal, who curls it just wide. First time left-footed from the edge of the penalty area. They couldn't quite find Mason Mount with the pullback, and then Sal running onto it, head in hands, so close again to his first Chelsea goal, but it's still 1-1.
How have Chelsea not scored in this second half? Incredible. The first ball just a little bit too far ahead of Kai Havertz. His touch took him a little bit wide. He pulls it back. He misses Mason Mount by, a foot? And then it comes all the way through to Saul, who looks like he's just going to sweep it into the bottom corner of his left foot, and he misses the post by a foot. That's been Chelsea's night, hasn't it, in front of goal? 12, 18 inches off every single time.
Certainly in this second half, the brilliance of Fraser Forster has also played a part, but Southampton have performed admirably in difficult circumstances with a much changed side. 3 of their next 4 games, Southampton are scheduled to be away from home. Watford to come at the weekend at Vicarage Road in the Premier League. Little flick from Havertz to set up Hudson-Odoi. Lovely ball through the gap to Kovacic, driving up to the edge of the penalty area. Kovacic had Marcus Alonso to his left. He didn't see him. It's come back to Havertz. Wide left, corner of the penalty area to Hudson-Odoi. Hudson-Odoi onto his right foot. Brilliant block. Comes back now to Sal, who curls one, and Forster palms it away. And Chelsea are getting closer and closer and closer. They have another corner at the Matthew Harding end, and what a remaining 16, 17 minutes we've got here on TalkSport 2. Danny Mills.
Oh, it's a brilliant game. It's end-to-end. Chelsea creating chances left, right and centre. Sal just trying to bend that one into the top corner. Good one, I think, for Fraser Forster.
Chilwell's left-footed corner up towards Chalobah, far post. Sarr is there too, could come to James. Head tennis in the penalty area, header across goal by Sal, up towards Havertz, comes down to Sarr, comes for Chalobah, who hits it, didn't get much power behind it, and Forster is able to gather. It was another heart-in-mouth moment for the Southampton supporters, and we do have a quarter of an hour remaining in this Carabao Cup tie. The 4th round, it's 1-1, and certainly nobody in Stamford Bridge, this near capacity crowd, is moving a muscle just yet. Although,
if Chelsea don't win this game, they will be absolutely furious. They've created so many chances in the game. Sal just trying to bend one in the top corner. It was relatively comfortable for Fraser Forster in the end. It was a little bit of a TV save, wasn't it? Flying high to the top corner. He got 2 hands on it to push it away. But Chelsea have created chance after chance after chance. As I said, from the first minute, their radar's just been 12 inches off.
And Southampton have taken advantage. 1-1 the score.
Theo Walcott touched it yet, by the way?
No.
I don't think he has he?
Not yet.
He went down injured. He came on, 10 minutes ago? 15 minutes ago? I don't think he's touched the ball yet.
He may yet have an impact on the game as Kovacic turns away from Diallo. Fouled. Free kick to Chelsea. A former Chelsea player in the shape of Oriol Romeo, stripped and ready to come on for Southampton. A long way down below us at the base of the East Stand. It's a very steep drop from our commentary position, and the bald-headed Romeo is going to replace Ibrahima Diallo in that Southampton midfield.
I think he's coming on just to try and exert a little bit of control, just to try and get hold of the ball and try and slow down the pace of the game so it's not quite so end-to-end. He's a natural sitter, isn't he, in front of the back four?
It's a great moment too for Will Smallbone, who hasn't played at all, the Southampton midfielder, since January. He's had horrible luck with injuries, an anterior cruciate ligament injury that has kept him out for virtually the whole of 2021, and he is now onto the field in place of Stuart Armstrong. And so Southampton have freshened up those central midfield positions, if you like. They've made 4 changes. 12 and a half to go, plus stoppage time. TalkSport 2, 1-1 the score, and are we going to get penalties here at Stamford Bridge? The ball is on the right for Southampton with Long. Long loops in the cross, and here's Smallbone arriving! Brilliant save by Kepa. Well, my goodness me, that would have been a remarkable moment for Will Smallbone, ghosting into the penalty box in his first appearance since January and forcing Kepa into an excellent save.
Oh, it's one of those, does that chance come too quickly for him? First touch into the game, he's stepping out for a long time. His eyes must have lit up. Good save in the end from Kepa, but surely you think he's got to score from that position.
The Smallbone has gone across to take the corner, far side between the West Stand and the shed end. Chelsea fans all around him. Whips it in right-footed, headed up into the air by Sal. Not convincing. It's gone behind for another corner to Southampton. They're 5th of the game so far. Arsenal 2, Leeds 0, QPR 0, Sunderland 0 in the Carabao Cup, both latest scores. 1-1 here on TalkSport 2. 11 and a half to go. Smallbone again drives the ball towards the near post. It's poor. Harrods clears. First time right-footed, but the danger might not be over yet for Chelsea. The ball is clattered crossfield by Valerie, high up into the air. James is there to clear with his head for Chelsea. Hudson-Odoi almost slips, is taken up by Gineppo. Lovely quick feet, he skips beyond Chilwell as well and then loses possession. Hudson-Odoi wins it back as Gineppo slips. Chilwell will charge up towards halfway, blocked off by Salisu, and Salisu is going to get a yellow card.
No, I think it was Gineppo. Gineppo was the one that pulled him back. Chilwell was really clever. He knew he didn't have the pace to accelerate away from him, so what he did, he ran across him. And then he knew that if he was going to be stopped, Gineppo was going to have to pull him back. And that's exactly what he did. Clever from Ben Chilwell.
You are right, Danny.
Isn't he on a run? What's he scored? It's 4 in 4, isn't he? Ben Chilwell?
4 in 5 for club and country. Not bad for a left wing back. Or a right wing back.
Right wing back. He's on his wrong foot. If he bangs on him with his right foot, this will be a night to behold, wouldn't it?
The roof would come off Stamford Bridge. But Southampton will have other ideas. Chalobah goes back to Kepa. Chelsea, who've been knocked out of the Carabao Cup in the last 2 years at the round 4 stage. Here they are up against the 2017 finalists. It's 1-1. The ball is with Romeo, wearing number 6, pushing it forward to Smallbone. Southampton have got men over here as Smallbone can play it right. He can't do so. Twice the pass was intercepted by Chalobah. There's a massive gap again between the Southampton defence and midfield. Hudson-Odoi can't exploit it. In the end, it was a poor pass from Kovacic that went straight out of play. And now Gineppo's gone down injured. And Southampton will get the chance to give the Malians some treatment here. The referee has stopped the game, Kevin Friend, and as time ticks away and the noise from the home fans becomes a bit more impatient and the Southampton fans continue to get louder, the more likely it feels, Danny Mills, that we are heading for spot kicks.
Well, and we have to say, we know it's a lottery with penalty kicks, but Fraser Forster absolutely huge, isn't he? In that goal, he must be what? He must be 9 inches bigger.
6'7".
8 inches bigger than Kepa. Kepa's not the biggest of goalkeepers, is he? He certainly doesn't look the most intimidating goalkeeper when you're taking a penalty.
But he does have a good record in penalty shootouts, does Kepa. And Forster saved a couple in the.
But I tell you what, if I'm taking a penalty and I'm looking at the goalkeepers, I want to be shooting at Kepa. I don't care how good his record is. Fraser Forster fills the goal. He puts his arms out. He touches both posts.
And he did, as I say, save a couple in round 3 on September the 21st. Kepa, who has saved 3 penalties for Chelsea in shootouts this season. You might remember the Super Cup against Villarreal almost in pre-season, and then the spot kick here that he saved against Aston Villa in round 3 of the Carabao Cup. Now, Gineppo is going to have to come off, and this is a man who will be a familiar figure to Chelsea supporters. In fact, he gets a ripple of applause from the home fans too, because it's Tino Livramento, this hot prospect, the 18-year-old who joined Southampton from Chelsea in the summer. He's the man to come on. Chelsea reportedly, Danny, will do have a clause potentially in his contract to buy him back should they wish to do so.
Why wouldn't they? It makes perfect sense, doesn't it? We talked about it at the top of the show. It's almost like an extended loan.
Here goes Kovacic for Chelsea, threading it through into the penalty area for Chilwell on the overlap. Sliding in was Kyle Walker-Peters to knock it behind. Chelsea have yet another corner. I make it their 9th of the game. And it'll be Mason Mount to take it on the near side of the field. Chelsea have loaded the penalty area with blue shirts. A lot of height in this Chelsea team. Mount's out-swinging delivery. Marcus Alonso got to it, but he couldn't get any power behind the header, and it's through to Forster again. Southampton
cannot defend set pieces at all. They've been appalling. They're half and half, which I've no problem with. You've got 3 players across the 6-yard box going zonal, and other players getting tight, but no one attacks the ball. Handball.
Offside anyway against Long, I think.
Well, offside and ball. Take your pick.
It was certainly a Chelsea free kick. Midway inside their own half of the field. So there are 6.5 minutes of normal time to go on TalkSport 2. Chelsea 1, Southampton 1. Havertz reverse ball lofted through the middle, overhit through towards Fraser Forster. And 1 or 2 of the Chelsea fans, I think, were heading to the concourses, Danny, to grab their refreshments before the penalty shootout happens, if it is to happen.
It'll be closed now. They're normally closed just after half time.
That's true. Maybe they just can't bear to watch. On by Forster, headed away by Chalobah towards the halfway line.
Little toilet breakers get a bit nervous.
Here is Reece James, almost in the right-back position. Plays it back to Kepa, who clears first time upfield. Headed by Salisu for Southampton. It's met by a clearance from Sal with his head nodded down to Kovacic. Kovacic nearly loses the ball, but Chelsea keep possession. Salisu goes rather through the back of Mount. It's a free kick to Chelsea.
Yellow card.
The referee doesn't think so.
It should be. It's a tackle from behind, and the referee's given a foul. How's it not a yellow card? That's what I would be saying to the referee.
Kevin Friend says no, but Chelsea are on the attack. Mount, right-hand edge of the penalty area. Across came Lianco. He did very well there. He sort of bundled the ball behind, and Chelsea had another corner.
He's done really well tonight, Lianco, hasn't he? He's done absolutely brilliantly. It's been a little bit last-ditch at times. Sliding tackles, throwing himself in the way of things, but he's done incredibly well.
Chelsea fans on their feet behind the goal. Mount with the right-footed delivery, poor. Headed away at the near post by Shane Long, back defending for Southampton. It's come out wide again to Hudson-Odoi this time. He looks up, floats in a long, high-hanging delivery. Good header away by Lianco once more. Comes down to Chilwell, urged to shoot. Well, his touch was heavy, and then Chilwell, under pressure from Smallbone, could only knock the ball out of play for a goal kick. The appeals that you heard were from the Chelsea fans who wanted a corner, but the referee said no.
The way the ball was spinning, I think I'd have said corner as well, even from up here. I'm not sure how. Chilwell has a shot and the ball starts spinning like that. That's impossible for it not to have taken a deflection.
Southampton get a little bit more time to while away a few seconds. Forster hammers the ball high downfield. Up went Long with Sarr, and now it's nodded forward by Romeo towards the edge of the Chelsea dead ball line, and it's gone out of play and a goal kick for Chelsea. And there are now 3.5 minutes plus stoppage time remaining. The Carabao Cup returns for Network tomorrow. Burnley against Tottenham live in the 4th round on TalkSport 2 from Turf Moor. On TalkSport, there'll be commentary of Manchester City's trip to London Stadium to face West Ham. Here is Adam Armstrong, edge of the penalty area, lays it square to Smallbone, who shoots, he slices it well wide. It was a brilliant tackle to win it back deep inside Chelsea territory, initially from Salisu, and then when the chance came for Smallbone, again, he didn't connect with it convincingly.
Yeah, he just looks like he's just a little bit off the pace, doesn't he, Smallbone, at the moment? Great opportunity a couple of times, just looks a little bit like rabbit in the headlights.
Kovacic has given it away to Romeo, corner of the penalty area, might get a second opportunity, shot is blocked, Kovacic scrambles it away desperately for Chelsea, and now Hudson-Odoi looking to get the wrong side of Valerie. In the end, the defender, the Frenchman, recovers.
Outpaced him quite easily as well. So, been a little bit disappointed with Callum Hudson-Odoi. It was a great opportunity for him tonight to shine, and I don't really think we've seen the best of him.
Chelsea away at Newcastle in the Premier League on Saturday. Here is Adam Armstrong, back to goal, centre circle, feeds Romeo, who scoops it high down the left towards Walker-Peters. Well watched by Chilwell to clear not once but twice. It's come back to Walker-Peters though. Corner of the penalty area, swings in the delivery, off balance, slices it miles over the top. Goal kick to Chelsea at the shed end, 2 to go, plus stoppage time. Scores level, penalties on the way.
Perfect description that. Swings it in, swung it in with his swinger of a left foot. That's normally what he uses for standing on. He didn't look comfortable, did he?
He's been forced to play almost all of his appearances this season. That left back or left wing back. There's a Southampton player down. It's Valerie just inside the Chelsea half. Might be a touch of cramp possibly here. Lianco's gone across to help him out. The Southampton fans away to the left, arms outstretched as they sing in full voice. And at half-time, Danny Mills, you wouldn't have bet on.
I thought it was all over.
Being level.
I won't lie. I said at half-time as well. I could not see Southampton getting back into this game. They got the early goal, maybe a touch of fortune. Maybe Kepa could have done a little bit better. That might be a little bit harsh, but since then it's just been so open. Chelsea have created so many chances, really good chances. They haven't been clinical enough in front of goal. I don't understand how players get cramped though. 9 games into the season, getting cramped.
Valerie is back on his feet. It's hooked high downfield by Smallbone towards Long. Brilliant stretch to clear from Chalobah. Facing his own goal, that was a remarkable interception.
On a cool evening as well. It's not like it's 27 degrees, is it?
It's more like 10, 15. Pretty mild for October. Nudged forward by Kovacic. Lovely touch from Hudson-Odoi. Plays in Mount down the right-hand side. Hudson-Odoi's continued his run. Off into the penalty area he goes. Again, Lianco does very well on what has been a very impressive night for the Burley central defender, the 24-year-old, just his second appearance tonight for Southampton.
He's got about there for man of the match, hasn't he? I think he's done, I think he's done really well. There's quite a few last-ditch challenges that he's had to go in for, but no, I think he's done a sterling job.
Still Arsenal 2, Leeds 0 in the Carabao Cup over on TalkSport.
Worrying times for Leeds.
0. Possibly. Here's Hudson-Odoi into stoppage time. We go into the penalty area. Hudson-Odoi shoots into the side netting. Half the ground thought it was in. It's a goal kick. 4 minutes of stoppage time now on TalkSport 2. 4 minutes away from penalties.
Poor decision from Callum Hudson-Odoi. Got himself into a great position. And from that distance, he misses the target by some distance, trying to put it in at the near post. Got to at least hit the target and make the goalkeeper make a save.
He got his first goal under Thomas Tuchel at the weekend. Fraser Forster, I think, is going to be booked for time wasting here. Forster, yellow card.
Knows exactly what he's doing.
Well, he knew he was going to be booked, and then he hammered the ball clear anyway.
And now he's run 20 yards out of his goal to talk to the referee. So had the referee let him take that free kick, it wouldn't have been an issue at all, and we'd have missed about 3 seconds. The fact that he's now done that, he's wasted another 45 seconds. Okay, even if you stop the clock, but he's now stopped the momentum. And it's just now a little bit of a lull in the game. Clever from Fraser Forster.
Very experienced.
Referee fought it.
Here is Mount on the halfway line for Chelsea, hooked away by Romeo, then the header nodded down by Walker-Peters to the middle of centre circle. Chalobah thunders it forward for Chelsea. Had 90 seconds of the 4 added on TalkSport 2. Chelsea 1, Southampton 1. Walker-Peters surging forward, up towards the edge of the penalty area. Wide left is Adam Armstrong. His cross is headed clear, comes out to Smallbone, goes further wide. It's Livramento against his old club. Slips in Smallbone on the overlap. His cross is turned away by Marcus Alonso. It is a Southampton corner at the shed end in the final few moments.
Just got to make sure that this ball in his quality has to miss the first man, give those Southampton players a chance to go and head the ball.
Plenty forward in red and white, everybody back for Chelsea, deep into stoppage time. Smallbone's delivery, and the header is tipped over the top. What an effort from Lianco. Even better, the save from Kepa.
It's always going to be very, very difficult to score from that angle. The ball, he was running backwards. He was near the penalty spot when he headed it. He was sort of flying away from goal, managed to direct it goalwards.
Southampton fans ready to celebrate a winner as the corner comes in. Another good save. This time Salisu nodding it down, and Kepa plunges to his left to tip it behind.
I think he could have caught that one. It wasn't an awful lot of power. Salisu headed it down into the ground, bouncing up, but he sort of patted it away.
Smallbone with another corner. Is it to be third time lucky for Southampton? This one's headed away to Romeo on the volley, blocked by Chalobah. Southampton with yet another corner as we enter the last minute of stoppage time. You're listening to TalkSport 2 in the 4th round of the Carabao Cup. It is Chelsea 1, Southampton 1, and Kepa has made brilliant back-to-back saves to keep Chelsea as things stand in the competition. Walcott is in front of the goalkeeper. Plenty forward elsewhere in the box for Southampton. It'll be lofted in by Will Smallbone, out swinging, headed away by Havertz, up to Walker-Peters on the edge of the box. Kepa's first to it. There are 35 seconds to go. He's bowled it out to James. Near side the right, James has his run checked. Infield to Marcus Alonso. What a brave approach it's been from Southampton. You feel they probably on balance deserve penalty kicks for the effort they put in. Here is Sarr on the Chelsea left. The referee has had a look at his watch. We've got 15 seconds of stoppage time to go. It's 1-1. Chalobah midway inside his own half under some pressure. Out to the near side, and Chilwell. We have had the 4 minutes of stoppage time, and Chelsea have a throw on the halfway line. What a second half it's been on TalkSport 2. A thriller of a second period. James to take the latest Chelsea throw. Down the right it goes, flicked on by Mount. Hudson-Odoi with his back to goal. Down the near side to the right. He looks up, he's level with the edge of the penalty area. He shapes the drive in field. He floats in the cross. Salwa's arriving, comes out to Sarr on the volley. Saved by Forster, he tips it away. And the final whistle does not go. Hudson-Odoi surging into the penalty area, plays it across. It's cleared by Romeo. And that is the end of the 90 minutes. And we will go to penalty kicks here at Stamford Bridge. What a remarkable end to the game. Caution thrown to the wind. Chances at both ends. Good saves at both ends. Havertz had Chelsea in front at half-time in regulation play. But Shea Adams with an equaliser 2 minutes into the second period. And despite all of the excitement, all of the action, that's the way it stayed. It finishes 1-1, and penalties to come, Danny Mills. Well, the penalties will be taken at the Matthew Harding end of the ground that is occupied entirely by Chelsea supporters. Fraser Forster and Kepa both being spoken to by the referee. Forster, who saved 2 spot kicks in the round 3 shootout victory for Southampton at Sheffield United, and Kepa, who has saved 7 in total in penalty shootouts for Chelsea, more than any other goalkeeper in the club's history.
There's no VAR, is there, for the goalkeepers coming off the line either?
No VAR at this stage of the Carabao Cup.
So we're going to have to some very eagle-eyed linesmen.
TalkSport 2, Joe Shannon and the former England defender Danny Mills on a floodlit night in West London. Here at Stamford Bridge, it ended 1-1 in normal time.
I don't know why they don't put linesmen either side of the goal.
Well, there is one assistant referee to one side.
Why not put them both there? Surely 4 eyes are better than 2.
Adam Armstrong, Southampton's number 9, up against Kepa, hopping up and down at the Matthew Harding end. The Chelsea fans waving their arms, trying to put him off. He goes right-footed and he sends Kepa the wrong way with an excellent penalty to put Southampton ahead in the shootout.
Really good finish. Great penalty. Took his time, whipped it into the top corner.
Marcos Alonso strides forward with purpose. The Spaniard scored a brilliant free kick on the opening day of the season against Crystal Palace. He has a wonderful left foot. Fraser Forster all in pink, the Southampton goalkeeper at 6'7". He really fills the goal. Alonso, hands on hips, left-footed, and again he sends Forster the wrong way. The goalkeeper diving to his right-hand side. Alonso went left, bottom corner, and it's 1-1 in the shootout on TalkSport 2.
Real confident penalty. Absolutely brilliant. Just whistle was blown, waited a couple of seconds, and then fired it into the bottom corner.
Well, the boos are really loud here for Theo Walcott, the former Arsenal forward, of course. Kepa standing on the edge of the 6-yard box, all in light grey, the Chelsea goalkeeper, now being told to retreat to his goal line. Saved penalties in the Super Cup and in the Carabao Cup already this season, the Chelsea goalkeeper. It's Walcott right-footed, and he hits the post! And it's advantage Chelsea in the shootout. Kepa celebrates, and Southampton, through Walcott, have missed the spot kick.
Oh, I don't know, did Kepa just get a fingertip on it? I think it probably would have hit the post. Anyhow, wasn't a great penalty. He had that little stuttery run up to start with, and then went to put it in the corner. Didn't really strike it very well. Was getting an awful lot of grief from the Chelsea fans.
Chelsea's next taker scored one at the weekend. He got a hat-trick at the weekend against Norwich City. It's Mason Mount right-footed at the Matthew Harding end. Oh, what a save by Forster. Mount tried to go towards the top corner and Forster sprung to his right, top hand, tipped it over the bar, and we stay level at 1 apiece in the shootout.
That's an unbelievable save. We're not getting the misses back up on the screen, or certainly not the Chelsea miss. They're not putting that on the big screen. We don't have any monitors in front of us. But Mount looked to hit that really well. I don't know how much in the corner it was, but Fraser Forster with that huge frame, massive wingspan, tipped it over.
Brilliant agility. Shane Long here to put Southampton 2-1 ahead in the shootout. A place in the quarter-finals of the Carabao Cup at stake. Right-footed, he scores. He dummied Kepa. He sent him the wrong way. An initially straight run-up that curved, and then Long calmly rolled the ball into the bottom corner. And that is partly what he was brought on to do off the bench. There are afters between Long and the Chelsea fans.
Who did I say I wouldn't want to take a penalty?
Callum Hudson-Odoi, who comes forward now for Chelsea, scored his first goal under Thomas Tuchel.
I might be wrong, I hope I'm wrong for his sake, but he didn't have a greatest of games, didn't look particularly confident.
Chelsea 2-1 down in the penalty shootout. Hudson-Odoi with a short run-up here. This to level the scores. It's a stuttered run-up, and he does beat Forster, despite the goalkeeper diving correctly to his right-hand side. Just enough on the penalty for Hudson-Odoi, and it's 2-2.
I'll tell you what, there was several thousand hearts in mouths there as he did that strange stuttered run-up. He did a little shuffle, didn't he? It's like Muhammad Ali when he did the little shuffle there before he ran up. Fraser Forster was very, very close to that.
38,000 hearts in mouths. Chelsea fans on their feet all around the stadium. The Southampton supporters likewise. The penalties are being taken at the Chelsea end, and Will Smallbone will take the latest of them for Southampton. White boots on. Oh, he smashes it high over the top. It's a dreadful penalty, and it's advantage possibly Chelsea once again here. It stays 2-2 in the shootout, but it is a horrible penalty from the youngster, high over the crossbar.
Well, that's Johnny Wilkinson-esque. I mean, that's gone at least 6 or 7 yards over the crossbar, leaning back. All the Southampton players go towards him to console him. that will not help him in any way, shape or form.
And now Ben Chilwell places the ball on the spot. The Chelsea coaching staff all huddled together in a long line on the near side. Chilwell, who's been in such great goal-scoring form for club and country, and he sends forth to the wrong way, and Chelsea are very nearly there. They lead 3-2 in the penalty shootout, and Southampton must score to keep the round 4 tie alive. And would you believe it, Danny Mills, it's the former Chelsea man, Oriol Romeo, who's coming forward to take it.
I mean, talk about a pressure penalty now against your old club. He'll be absolutely desperate to score, but he's quite a calm figure.
Oriol Romeo.
I think he'll slot this to the right-hand side as we look. Kepa's left.
Must score to keep Southampton in the Carabao Cup on TalkSport 2. Right-footed, and he beats Kepa. He went down the middle. Kepa committed to his left-hand side. Romeo scores a nerveless spot kick, and it is 3-3 in the shootout. But Chelsea can still win it here, and it's Reece James, the man who came through the youth ranks, the man who knows all about what it means to play for Chelsea. It will be a short run-up from 12 yards to send them into the quarter-finals here of the Carabao Cup. He hits it right-footed, he scores, and Chelsea are through on penalty kicks. A nervy night under the lights at times for Thomas Tuchel and co, but Chelsea get the job done when it mattered, and it's the man who's come from the youth setup, the man who knows what it means to play for Chelsea Football Club, who's calmly beaten Forster, and it is Chelsea who are through here to the last 8 of the Carabao Cup. Gallant Southampton bow out. It was level at 1-1 at normal time. A Havertz opener cancelled out by an equaliser from Shea Adams, as we welcome our listeners from TalkSport, where Chelsea are through to the Carabao Cup quarter-finals after a 1-1 draw in normal time. They've beaten Southampton 4-3 on penalty kicks. Reece James with the winning spot kick, just as he did in round 3 here against Aston Villa. And Danny Mills, in the end, it's Chelsea who prevail.